Welcome to Remove Before Flight, where we help prepare veterans to start, grow, or scale a business. RBF Nation, how are we doing? Yesterday was International Podcast Day. There was a lot of great content put out by podcasters all across the globe. You can check out the replays at internationalpodcastday.com. Last week, I got the bright idea to rebuild my personal website to provide a better experience for you. The goal of this new site was to consolidate a lot of my content into one place. The previous design was outdated and honestly sucked. So knowing that it was already upgrade upon upgrade and a crazy amount of plugins, many of which I was uncertain if they were even still used or not, I decided to rebuild a fresh site. I set a goal last week to go live on October 1st. This was done without looking ahead at my schedule. Why? Because, well, let's be honest. If I had planned it out properly, then I would have never gotten it done. There would always be something in the way. Good news is we did launch around 1 a.m. on October 1st, which is today, the day I'm recording this, but not with 100% of our content. I'm still migrating some of the content over as each piece has to be scanned for any missing plugins. The graphics need to be updated. All kinds of little stuff that I just want to check and make sure I'm bringing, the quality back to you. When you have a moment, check it out and give me your feedback. Visit us at kevinfairbanks.com. For a while now, I've been planning out how I wanted to redesign my current recording studio to accommodate the growth of Remove Before Flight and several other podcasts. After months of researching what gear to get, what gear not to get, what options I wanted to have, etc., 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 I finally decided to purchase some gear. I was hoping to have all this done for this week's episode, but unfortunately that did not happen. Most of the gear did not arrive until Friday and Saturday. This, on top of completing the website redesign, left little time available. So right now, my studio is a freaking mess. It looks like a tornado has come through here. Once I'm finished with today's episode, I will be going back to finish up the new equipment install. When done, I will post photos over at kevinfairbanks.com so that you can see it. So, some of the great upgrades that are going to be included will be, having the ability to do multiple guests in studio without having to share a mic. Currently today I record on a Blue Yeti. I've got the blackout edition, the all black one. But it's a USB mic that plugs directly into the computer without a lot of control over, how it sounds, how it interfaces, or anything else. And the nature of this microphone, it picks up a lot of background noise. A lot of times you can hear the fan running on the network switch that's on the other side of the office where I'm recording this at. And so I wanted to be able to offer, multiple mics, studio quality mics and everything else. And be able to bring in live callers, whether they're coming in from the phone or Skype or any other conference source. A lot of I'm a fan of Zoom, and I like to use that over Skype. But so one additional thing was I wanted to add some more webcams and video cameras to be able to do like video recordings of shows and offer live events. What great content would it be to do a live audio and video stream of a training or something else, a round table, a call-in show going live. There's all kinds of potential here that I saw value in and wanted to bring to you, my audience. And In order to do that, I had to get some additional equipment. So there's lots of cool stuff planned out. So who wants to be the first in-studio guest on the new equipment? And please, by no means at all, think that I'm knocking the Blue Yeti at all. It's really a great mic. I bought my version 3, maybe 4 years ago when they first came out with the Blackout Edition. So I don't know how long it's been, to be honest with you. But if I was to buy this microphone today, they have an upgraded option that not only is USB, but also comes with an XLR hookup to it. And I would buy that edition in a heartbeat. The reason I didn't buy it for the studio upgrade, I had bought some other microphones, was due to the nature of how I'm setting up that studio. The Blue Yeti is a little bit bigger of a mic and is almost too big for that environment. And to do 4 of those is pretty expensive. You know, it's not a cheap microphone. So it comes down to a cost factor. However, you know, do you have a great idea for a podcast show? Are you interested in learning more about having your own show but don't know where to begin? Let's talk. Send me an email, kevin@kevinfairbanks.com, and be sure to put "I want a podcast" in the subject line so that I don't miss your email. I get a lot of email every day, and I'd hate to have a dedicated listener like you slip through the cracks. So I do want to apologize that, you know, I'm coming down a little bit of a cold, and a lot of it's just because the crazy ass weather we're having. You know, friggin' earlier this week it was 90 degrees, above 90 degrees in September in Syracuse, New York. It's just crazy. Now we're down in like the 50s, freezing our asses off. It's like, what the hell? Almost ready to turn on that heat, but not yet. Not yet. I spent a lot of time working with coaching, talking, teaching entrepreneurs. And one of the common things that I often hear is, how do you get over missing the sharing of ideas and general conversations with coworkers which spark visions when having a job? Many entrepreneurs are solopreneurs, and they work from home with no one around. And that can get lonely. Let's be honest. It sucks sometimes. You know, you spend hours sitting, you know, like for me, sitting at a computer, not talking to people, being here all day. So I've been known to take my laptop and go to a local diner or someplace like Panera, you know, has Wi-Fi, and sit there and work all day just to be around people. Even if I'm not conversing with them, just being in an environment where people are kind of shuffling around. One way around this loneliness is to find a shared workspace or a co-working space in your area to work from. You know, over the past few years, these spaces have been exploding as more and more people like having the collaboration, but still the freedom and independence of being an entrepreneur. I have often toyed around with the idea of starting such a space in my area, as I know there is a need for it. Most of the ones that are currently in the Syracuse area are located downtown, which brings its own set of hassles to work with. Maybe something in the suburbs offering desks, workspaces in a creative, open atmosphere. Members would have access to meeting rooms and studios for photographers, videographers, and we can't forget podcasts. Maybe add a large multi-purpose room for hosting of workshops and seminars, a community secretary or receptionist that, you know, could field phone calls and people walking in. This could grow through partnerships to provide access to funding and other resources to help successfully launch a business venture. Wow, this sounds all great, and one day I will have a place like this. But for now, there are places similar in many areas. Check your local area and see if you have a co-working space available. It might just give you back some of your sanity. Lately, I've been taking a shift in my mindset from reading a lot about SEO and marketing to focusing more on me and my personal growth. I just started a couple new books based on recommendations from some key people in my life. 48 Days to the Work You Love and Living with a Seal. I will be sharing my thoughts on both of these over the next few episodes. If you wish to join me in this reading, almost like a reading circle if you want, then I put the links to the books on the show notes page over at kevinfairbanks.com/RBF017. For those of you looking to start a business but say to yourself, I don't have any money, I can't afford it, I recommend you go read $100 Startup. I will also put a link out there on the show notes page, but check around. This book from time to time has been known to pop up in places like Ollie's, the dollar store, those type places. If you can pick it up for $1 or a couple of bucks, why not? If you want it immediately, then, go use the link I got out there and get a copy on Amazon. I kind of like that. I like that reading circle concept, that idea. Let's do this. You want to join me in reading, 48 Days to the Work You Love or Living with a Seal. Either one of them two. Let's do it. If I can get enough people interested in either one of them or both of them, they can be separate. You don't have to do both. I'll put together sessions where, we can get together, every week, every other week, whatever it be, and just, hop on like a video conference and just, work out our thoughts, help each other improve, help each other grow as human beings. We're all in this together. Whether it be the business mindset or the personal mindset, let's just get our heads straight. In our last episode, we started talking about content and how it relates to your SEO efforts. Unfortunately, that episode got cut short due to a couple family issues. So let's pick it back up and discuss on-page content. On-page content is just that. It is content on your webpage. Things you can control. If you have an existing website, then I suggest that you begin looking at your core content. This is your homepage, all your top level page. In other words, things within your navigation menu. Go through each page one by one and read what you have on your website. As funny as this may sound, many people have never done this, and they get amazed when they do, because they find little typos and things that are missing. It's crazy, but our minds think completely ahead of what we're doing. So you may be typing something out, and your mind is 3 or 4 words ahead of what you're typing, and sometimes things get missed. Or you could spell something completely wrong, but your mind knows what you want, and it translates it correctly. Words could be out of order, a letter could be gone, and spell check may not check it because it may be a real word. You take the word top. If you forgot the P, 2 is still a word. Spell check's not going to tell you spelt it wrong. So just go out there. Look at what you have for content. Read it. How does it read? How does it make you feel? Did you find yourself wanting more? Do you feel like this website has authority on the subject? Or did you get bored reading it? Can it be broken down into smaller pieces such as bullets or subheadings? Once you've completed this, don't make any changes yet. Go look at your biggest 3 competitors. Take a look at their web pages on the same content. And I want you to go through this same scenario on their pages. So make sure that these are the top 3 positions for you, the keyword that you desire to rank for. So don't just randomly pick 3 businesses. Go out there and make them the top 3. The people you're trying to get number 1 in Google, so you need to bump them off. So go grab them and go through and find content pages that they have that are the same content that your page is about, and look at it. how does their content read? How does it make you feel? Go through that same scenario. Ask yourself those same questions. You see the pattern here? When creating content, you need to put yourself in the same position as you did when you got into business. You said you were going to start this business because you could do it better, right? What makes your company unique or different? What do you do that nobody else does? How is your product, customer service, or process better than everyone else? This is what you need to be displaying within your content, and this is exactly what the search engines want to see. Now, you could spend countless hours writing long documents about things that everyone already knows, or they can find on sites like Wikipedia. Or you can focus on what you do differently or better than the other guys. And, I'm throwing a lot at you, and you might be starting to feel like confused or overwhelmed. Don't. Simply state your value position and tell your customers why they need to choose you. All right, so after you go through and correct all your core content, it's time to move to your inner pages. And we're going to do the same thing. Along the way, you may find certain pages are no longer necessary, or several pages can be consolidated into one. This is great. Deleting pages is not necessarily a bad thing. However, keep in mind that you need to ensure redirects are put into place, letting people know where the content has moved to. Just like when you move from your home, you forward your mail. The same thing needs to be done with your web pages. People may have links to old content, and if someone follows it, you don't want them to end up on your site lost, looking at an error page that says nobody lives at this address anymore. Do you? The main idea behind auditing your website's content is to paint a clear picture for your visitor. You want them to have an excellent experience and know exactly who you are, what you do, what products or services you offer, where you're located, and how they can contact you. Do not put up pages of content just to put up pages. Every single piece of content must have a purpose. Awesome! You completed your website content audit. Now it's time to take a look at your blog. What, you don't have a blog? Man, you're missing out on a great source of traffic. If your website has been around for a while and you are actually active blogging, then you're thinking to yourself right now, man, do I really need to go through all of this content? Yes, you do. I recommend setting up a spreadsheet, listing out all of your blog posts. From there, try to categorize them and look for opportunities to either consolidate or interlink. Before you make any changes, be sure to look over the analytic data. You don't want to disrupt a source of existing traffic by deleting or moving content. A good idea for your old and worn out blog posts is to repurpose them, especially if they've gotten good traffic in the past. You may find that the content could still be relevant or in need of a little bit of polishing. Share them again on your social media channel. Drive traffic there. During my recent redesign of kevinfairbanks.com, I noticed 2 years ago today, I wrote a review style post on the Amazon Kindle Fire 7. I had bought it just as it had come out. I actually had pre-ordered it, so it arrived around the same time. It's all in that post. But as I looked at this, I still use this device today, and actually was just looking at getting another one for the new studio. And I'm on the fence. Do I want another 7, or do I want to upgrade to an 8 or a 10? Now, with the Kindle Fire, that's the size of the screen. Looking at that 10-inch one, I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of nice to be laying there on the desk and be able to use for jingles and a few other things that, I got in mind for the studio. But I'm like, is it worth the extra $100? The 7 is $49.99. The 10 is like $149.99. So, but as I looked at this, I said, ding, ding, winner, winner. Here's an opportunity for another blog post as an update from the original piece. And it's a great opportunity to interlink them. I can write, where are we at 2 years later? I still use this device. Holds up a lot better than the previous Android tablets I've had. Those died after 3 months. So look at your opportunities out there. You know, chances are if you have a site and it's been around for a while, then you probably got some spammy type content hanging around too. You want to make sure you identify these posts and get rid of them as soon as possible. Don't forget to add 301 redirects to any content you do remove. Don't let your entire website get dragged down in Google for having bad content. A few years ago, people tried various tricks and tactics to spoof the search engines. That game just does not work anymore. Instead, you will get penalized. So get out there, perform your on-page content audit. As you can see, you have your work cut out ahead of you. I'm looking forward to hearing about your progress. Reach out to me if you have any questions or you are stuck. You can post the notes over in the RBF Nation on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/RBF Nation. Join us next week as we focus on off-page content and how content plays a big part in local SEO. Help keep all the great shows at the Change Your POV Podcast Network on the air by showing your support via Patreon. Visit changeyourpov.com/support us for more information. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any great content, and be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. All right, everybody, it's time to wrap up this show and get out of here. Life is short. Don't just dream, do. We will see you next week on Remove Before Flight. Thank you for listening.